I wasn't aware of him being alive until 2021, like mid 2021. Just a hardship, just trying to provide for my family, my immediate family, as well as Dion too.
It's the state's understanding that parents are in agreement to make this a final order today, establishing the parent-child relationship and setting up rights and duties to the child, including for support. It's the state's understanding that parents, Mr. White and Ms. Rivers, are in agreement that Mr. White is the father. The DNA test report was actually filed with the clerk's office, as well as introduced into evidence on submitted for consideration on August 1st, but I don't believe it was entered into evidence. Parents are in agreement that the child's name should be changed from Dion Wiles to Dion White. And the parents are in agreement to be named joint managing conservators with Ms. Rivers as primary, able to decide the child's domicile without any geographic restriction. Father to have a modified possession and access order beginning with 6 visits at each of the 4 steps before the standard possession order takes place. Testimony will show that both parents are within the Bell County area, and so the father may be seeking an expanded standard possession order after the modified visits have completed. Testimony will also show that Mr. White is currently in the military and he'll be providing health and dental for the child. Testimony will show that Mr. White has 3 other minor children. All 3 are younger than the child in this case, or one at the same age. The state has calculated current child support to be $532 per month. However, the parents are asking that the court approve a deviation down to $450 per month beginning November 1st of 2023. The state has calculated a retroactive support judgment based on Mr. White's provision of his earnings since February of 2019 through today's date. This includes both military ranks and timeframes, as well as prior to military employment. So for a total of 55 months, Your Honor, that judgment amount came to $14,290.92. This full amount of judgment is at issue along with repayment. The state was seeking $122 per month, the 50 over interest. However, the state has no problem so long as something does go toward principal. But I believe everything else is agreed, Your Honor, and based on court practice, the state had advised Mr. White of the likelihood that costs would be waived in this case.
All right, thank you. Ms. Garcia.
Your Honor, I think my client understands the situation. I think his concern is more so of hardship with regard to repayment and the other children and all the obligations that he has, and potentially being med-boarded out of the Army pretty soon. His concern is hardship with all the payments that he'll be having to make. So I think he's wanting to ask for a reduction in his total monthly amount that would be due. I think he's spoken with the mother and they have an agreement on what they would like, but I believe it would be up to the discretion of the court. So he'll testify to that in a little bit.
All right. All right, thank you very much. I'll ask both the parties, Mr. White and Mr. Rivers, to unmute yourself and raise your right hands, please. Okay, both of you solemnly swear or affirm your testimony you're going to give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you.
So help me God.
So help me.
All right, you're both officially under oath, and I'll allow the state to proceed. Thank you. Call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Ms. Rivers. Ma'am, what is your full name?
Rosalie Rivers.
Who is the child in this case?
Dion Wiles.
How are you related to Dion?
His mother.
Who is Dion's father?
Lawrence White.
And is it correct, ma'am, that DNA testing was done in this case and you've had an opportunity to see the results?
Yes.
Were you able to hear my complete opening statement to the court a moment ago?
Yes.
Was that an accurate description of the agreements and disagreements in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Specifically, Ms. Rivers, you were in agreement with the state proposing all of the conservatorship, possession and access, and guideline current and retroactive support, but you're aware of Mr. White being in disagreement with the current, which is why you were agreed to a deviation down to 450.
Yes.
And then as far as the retroactive support amount, am I correct in telling the court that you were wanting that full amount, but don't really have a preference as to repayment?
Yes.
Was there anything else, ma'am, you'd like the court to consider that I haven't already described?
No, ma'am.
So going forward, you're comfortable communicating with Mr. White and allowing for the visitation based on the initial modified visits and then the expanded standard possession order happening since you two are now located very close to each other?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Rivers. Your Honor, I pass this witness.
All right, ma'am, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm sorry, I'm gonna go ahead and let the ad litem ask questions at this time. Your witness, Ms. Garcia.
Yes, ma'am. You indicated earlier that you would potentially be in agreement with lowering the total amount due for the father. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And, what was the amount that you indicated that you would be agreeable to?
450.
Okay. And that would include the current child support plus repayment towards any arrearages that are found today?
Yes.
I pass the witness.
All right, then, anything on redirect, Ms. Bagnat?
Yes, Your Honor, briefly. Ms. Rivers, so you understood that I had said guideline current child support was 532, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that the recommended repayment, if the court grants the full retroactive child support judgment, was $122.
Yes, ma'am.
And so in going to 450, you were comfortable that it wasn't going to be a total monthly obligation for Mr. White of 632, or excuse me, that math is wrong, but something along those lines.
I was comfortable with it. I was just being consideration of his family as well as my son.
Okay, so rather than you potentially getting a $654 a month as a combined current and towards the child support judgment, you were willing to forego $204 and think the $450 will meet Dion's needs?
Honestly, no, because I spend more of that just to take care of him by myself.
And so, ma'am, just to clarify, the $450, was that what you were going to accept as a full monthly obligation or just the current?
Just the current.
And so as far as the retroactive or back child support judgment repayment, you didn't have an opinion?
For the back child support, I still wanted the full amount.
For both the judgment and the repayment?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Your Honor, I pass the witness.
Anything on redirect, recross, Ms. Garcia?
No, Your Honor.
All right, call your next witness then, please, Ms. Bagnat.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Mr. White. Sir, what is your full name?
Lawrence Edward White IV.
And sir, would you agree that you are the biological father of Dion?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you able to hear my opening statement to the court a while ago, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that an accurate description of the issues we would be presenting to the court today?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, as far as the agreements, you and the mother can be joint managing conservators and she would be primary since Dion lives with her?
Yes. Yes, I see no problems. Yes, ma'am.
And given you currently being in the military and despite you two being so close by, you're not asking for any type of geographic restriction at this time?
I don't know what that is, so no, I believe not.
Okay. So basically, sir, if Ms. Rivers decides to move, she can. No need to come back in before the court. Obviously, she'd have to make sure you get your visitation.
Yes, that's fine.
And sir, as far as the health and dental insurance, you have a way to cover your son at this time?
Yes.
And sir, you understand that credit was calculated so that you're not being penalized for having TRICARE or other dental for him while paying a child support amount?
Yes.
With regard to the visitation, you were in agreement that you start off with those 6 visits at each of the 4 phases before a standard possession order or expanded possession order begins. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And as far as the child support, Mr. White, you were in agreement with Ms. Rivers that the current amount should be $450?
Yes, ma'am.
And was I correct, sir, in stating that your main disagreement was the retroactive child support, not because it wasn't calculated accurately, but because the amount itself and the repayment may be some or cause some difficulty for you?
Yes, ma'am. Just hardship. Just trying to provide for my family, my immediate family, as well as Dion too.
And backing up a bit, Mr. White, since February of 2019 through today's date, you have not provided any funds to Ms. Rivers. Is that correct?
No, ma'am. I wasn't aware of him being alive until 2021, like mid 2021.
Okay. And after learning of Dion's existence, sir, you and the mother never lived together?
No, ma'am. I deployed twice, back to back.
And sir, you had provided to me information about your 2 jobs prior to you joining the military, which you are currently still in. Is that correct?
Come again?
You let me know about your earnings for the prior 2 jobs before the military, which you are still in.
Yes, ma'am.
And is it correct, sir, that you have 3 other minor children that are biologically yours other than Dion?
Yes, ma'am.
Was there anything else, sir, you wanted the court to consider at this time based on my questions?
Not at the moment.
And sir, having heard the whole judgment amount of retroactive support, were you wanting the court to change that in any way, or were you wanting the $122 requested repayment changed?
I mean, both, but if not, I'll do the best I can do.
And sir, with regard to the full amount, what specific change were you requesting?
Maybe it'd be lowered to when I re-enlist, I just give her my whole enlistment bonus if I get one, or one of my school bonuses, and I just pay that in full.
His deal, sir. You can voluntarily do something like that, okay? But you got to. The only way I can give you proper credit for it is if you actually just send it in as support against or amount against your arrears, sir. So, but I'll go ahead and let the state finish asking you questions at this point. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. White, with regard to the repayment amount, if your current child support is $450, what amount extra can you send in to get rid of that back child support balance?
I mean, I was hoping I could do 400 child support and back the retro $50, or 450 and an extra 50 on there to make retro, and to even make it 500 even, or keep it at 450 like I said. But I can pay when I can, and I'll do the best I can do to pay. I won't miss a payment at all.
And sir, is it correct that this is not your first child support case?
That is correct.
And so, sir, with this being a later case, you understand you have the ability to request modification of the earlier order if not all your children were accounted for?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Your Honor, I pass this witness.
All right, your witness, Ms. Garcia.
I actually don't have any questions. I think Ms. Bagnat covered the explanation for his financial situation, so I have no questions.
All right, and Mr. White, why I sympathize with you, sir. Unfortunately, the interest alone on this is something like $70 a month, or $75, and I can't go below that amount. And so I got to order something because this is a young child. It's going to take you a while to pay it off, even if at the 120 something that was requested. So I can go to 100, sir, but that's not going to save you but $22 a month, so it's not going to be much. But again, to get those arrears down of that interest down, you can, if you do a list and want to put a lump sum toward that, you would just need to contact the Attorney General's office and make sure that that goes toward the unpaid child support and not toward a future pay amount, and get with them to get that done after it comes in, sir. But again, the mom wants the entire amount. The interest on that entire amount is $75, $80 a month. So I've got to order at least that amount and a little something toward the principal. So again, I can look at doing it at $100 a month or even 95, but I can't go below that $95 a month extra, sir. Sorry.
I completely I completely understand that, sir. You know, I was just trying to, you know, negotiate a little bit.
Yes, sir. I
See what
understand.
can be
But
possible.
unfortunately, the amounts, you know, it's like you telling your car guys, you know, can you lower my payment some? And of course, your General Motors finance is going to go, no. So yeah.
So would that bring it to $495 and $95
Well,
to
it'll be
the?
$450 plus the 95, sir. So that makes it $545 total. And like the state says, you can go try to readjust your other child support amounts to get those down, so you can more easily afford that. But for right now, that's the only thing I can do, sir.
I understand.
All right. All right. Any other witnesses that you wish to call at this time, Ms. Bagnat?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Garcia, you have any witnesses?
And Your
I'm fine.
Honor, sorry.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm going to ask you if you had any questions at the moment. Any other witnesses you wish to call or recall at this time, Ms. Garcia?
No, Your Honor.
All right, then, Mr. White. Question, sir.
With that being said, with the repayment, are you guys? Because I know with my other daughter, they replenished my taxes. Are y'all gonna do that again to help me?
Sir,
Yeah.
first off, that's not me. That's the state and the federal government, and that actually comes through a different office than the one you're dealing with. So
Okay.
if that's already been done, then probably they can't do that, or it's left up to them how to do it. But usually on new cases, sir, unless you fall behind on your payments, then the garnishment is not something that they do with taxes. But if you got one already out there, then this may affect that one way or the other. I don't know, sir.
Okay, I understand.
All right. Any other questions, Mr. White?
Just for Miss Bagnat, do you want me to? So should I bring to the attention with my other court case? Do I just bring it to your office?
Okay, sir. Well, first off, sir, where's the other court case out of?
Texas, Houston County.
Houston County or Houston, Texas?
Houston County. The courthouse is in Crockett, Texas.
Okay, it's in Crockett. Okay. All right, then. So which Ms. Bond, I can tell you which office up there does that type of thing, but this office here at that Temple doesn't obviously cover that, but she can let you know what county you can do and try to get that done, sir. I'm not sure how fast they are out in that county as far as these things are concerned, but you could always look at doing something pro se and getting that on file. In other words, do it yourself or hire an attorney, but seek the AG's office. But until something's on file, nothing can be done, sir. Okay.
Understood.
All right, then. Any other questions, Mr. White?
No, sir.
All right.
Oh,
then,
actually, sorry. My apologies.
No problem.
Was the extended I think it was called Visitation was that going to be an issue after me and Dion established a relationship, or is that just going to be a standard? Because I think Rosalind and I are like 10 miles away from each other.
As long as y'all live in the same vicinity, sir, obviously the extended would work, and I'm ordering both. But if you move or she moves, then you got to go to the standard visitation package after that. But first, you got to complete the break-in visits, and then you move to the extended visitation package, sir.
Understood. Yes, sir. That was my final question.
All right, Ms. Rivers, questions, ma'am?
No, sir.
All right, anything else, Ms. Bagnat?
No, Your Honor.
Anything else, Ms. Garcia?
No, Your Honor.
All right, I'll have the state prepare that order circulated, and of course, the waiving court costs due to military service. And again, circulate that order and get it back to me, and I'll sign off on it. May the parties be excused, Ms. Bagnat, or do you need to go in the breakout room with Mr. White to see to get him that information as far as the Houston Crockett? I always love it that we got a Crockett County and a Crockett, Texas. We got a Houston County and a Houston, Texas. So this confuses thing all over the place, but you can tell him which office covers Houston County then, ma'am.
Both are free to go, Your Honor. I'll reach out to Mr. White after today's docket is finished.
All right, thank you. All right, you're both free to go, and good luck to both of you. We're off the record.